Yeah, my leg's itching. It's cold too. We got the wind blowing and limbs falling, acorns falling. Remember, was it a couple of years ago? I was sitting out on the back porch doing a show and got hit in the head with an acorn. That's been a while ago. When the wind's blowing like this, you just don't want to be out there. Robert's been working on the bridge and he took Jimmy to town this morning, and he was saying he just can't imagine having an addiction so bad that you have to go to town early in the morning. We just need to pray for Jimmy. I've asked him. One time I took him to town, and I asked him if he wanted to be healed. He said no. So I was willing, but he wasn't. So listen, it's Friday. Today's. Many people were saying on the show this morning. Many people were saying on the show this morning, it's payday. They were going to purchase something, and a lot of people have to wait till payday. A lot of people have to wait. We understand that. But I remember being a young mother, and that's where the first office in a bag came into being, and how this one was developed. This one was developed from that original. I think Justin and I knocked something off. It was my Kleenex box. Um, that was a loud noise. I had asked for it for Christmas, and it was expensive way back then. It was like $59, and it was on Eddie Bauer's website, and it was just a notebook holder. It's all it was. It didn't have a notebook in it. It was just a thing to put a 3-ring binder in, and I had Justin was about 5, I think. So that would have been 44 years ago. And I just wanted to be able to sit in my car at lunchtime on my lunch hour, pay a few bills and do the things, run errands, get some grocery. I could utilize my lunch hour for a lot of things. But we were on a tight budget, and I didn't make a whole lot. I'll never forget. I made 100, and seems like it was like $110 to work 44 hours a week. And I only had a half a day off, and that was on Wednesday. Only had a half a day off, and it was every school teacher's salary back 50 years ago, 44 years ago was not much. And you know Justin's dad had a college degree, and every penny was spoken for. I mean, my $100 a week helped to pay insurance. And the reason I'm thinking of this is Robert said we got our car insurance in. We have two cars on our car insurance. We have his car, which is a Ford that is a hybrid electric, and um, it has a gas fuel tank to make electricity. And we have my truck, the Honda Ridgeline. But my granddaughter's driving our truck right now, and we put her on the insurance because it's okay to let somebody borrow your car for just a little while, but she's driving it until they get an insurance settlement and they figure out what she wants to. I mean, she's going off to college next year, and she needs something that is dependable. The car she had an accident in had 300,000 miles on it. So my car only had about 60,000 miles on it. And it's a 2014. So mine and Robert's car are about the same age. And he said, the car insurance went up. He said, I can't figure out why. And I said, well, maybe it's because we put Sarah on the insurance. And he said, I don't think that would have cost $100, but it was $100 for 6 months. We pay our car insurance every 6 months. And I don't know what the total amount was. I used to pay it, but I don't know what it was. He just said it was up $100. But every dime of when Justin was little, every dime was allotted for. I mean, I kept up with every penny we spent when we were on vacation, and we saved up to go on vacation. We didn't waste anything. I canned things from the garden. I did everything I could to make $1 stretch. We cooked every night. I cooked breakfast every morning. I did all of these things. But my office in a bag, and I made up calendars to go in my 3-ring binder. I would draw it up on paper and stick it in my office in a bag to have a place to keep up with my spending and when bills were due and all of these things. And I'd forgotten about all this stuff until just now. And, when Justin had the idea to have a digital calendar for us that you could print out that would go in your 3-ring binder, I'm working on things for tomorrow. And tomorrow, the Ask FlyLady question is, how do you keep up with paying bills? And that's how I did it, with my office in a bag, a calendar that was handwritten, that to go in there where I could mark when I got paid every Friday? Yeah, I think it was every Friday. The people I took care of I was the payroll clerk, and we got paid in cash, not under the table or anything, because all of it got reported. But the people that worked with us didn't want to have to run to the bank to get the check cashed. They wanted to have, so I had to figure out down to the penny what I needed to go in their little envelopes. And that's what I did. I did the payroll. And that $100 a week was $100 that went toward groceries and insurance and maybe putting a little bit back for vacation. And it worked. I could keep up with savings. We had 2 car payments too, because when I went to work, I needed a car, not just one car. So there was a car payment that got made, and I had to, and our car payment was, I can't even imagine how this worked, but we had a quarterly car payment. So it was like $450 every 3 months. But I couldn't wait till the last minute. So every 3 months is like 13 weeks, and every week I put something into savings toward that car payment so that I always had the car payment readily available, because each week Eddie got paid once a month and I got paid once a week. So it's just how it worked. It's hard unless you sit down and figure it out. Now, I didn't have a second job at that time. I was just trying to make ends meet. And my high school bookkeeping teacher, typing teacher, was my boss's daughter. And they went to my church. And I made straight A's in her class. And when her father was looking for somebody to replace a lady who had been with him for 10 years, she recommended me because she had seen me at the school applying for a job. Justin was getting ready to go into kindergarten. I'd stayed home with him. And so she recommended me for a job. And I got the job. And I worked for him until he passed away. And we closed down the business. And he passed away on Justin's birthday. Can you imagine that? I think Justin was nine years old. No, he was older than that, I think. I can't remember. I know it was Justin's birthday, and I think he died in 1988. So I would take my lunch hours and sit in my car, because if I was in the store, it was an appliance and furniture store. If I sat in the store, I'd have to answer the phone and I'd go sit in the car for my lunch hour and work on paying bills, making a grocery list. So having an office in a bag that I could take with me and be able to pay the things that I needed to pay. I had my checkbook in my office in a bag. I had a calendar. I had pens. I had the ability to write notes to people. I had everything I needed in my office in a bag to be able to do correspondence, to write down a grocery list, all of it right there. Menu plan. My first menu planning was done on a calendar. And it was one I hand drew. Martha got her office in a bag today. Now put a 1-inch 3-ring binder in it. You kind of have to fold it all the way open and slide it down in, kind of like a pillowcase. But y'all, that kept me organized. I might not have been good at keeping house, but I was good at keeping my own personal books and doing what I needed to do. And I'm so glad Justin came up with the idea for a digital calendar, because y'all seem to be liking it. You seem to be liking the idea of this digital calendar. It only prints out like 20 pages, maybe 19. So y'all, don't put your head in the sand when it comes to your finances. And it's so easy to overspend these days. It's just so easy. Sometimes you just need what I like to do is put things in my shopping cart on Amazon and just leave them there. And then I wait 2 or 3 days, and if I still think I need those things, I'll maybe get rid of about half of the cart. I used to do this with catalog orders. Pardon me. I should have looked up. Maybe it would have gone away. So y'all stay on top of what you can purchase. There is no disposable income anymore. There hasn't been in a long time. Because we spend it. But we don't. I mean, I was listening to Pinball a while ago, and he said his electric bill went up. Ours is staying about the same. Now he's on TVA electricity, hydropower. Uh, I think we might be on some of that, but I'm not for certain with Duke Power. But we have a nuclear power plant not far from us. So, folks, Friday is your day to face your finances And I want you to do it not just during Christmas and staying within budget during Christmas. Next week, next month, which is probably next week, we're we got 10 more days, 11 more days to this month. Next month, it's all about menu planning. Why don't you sit down today, take inventory in your freezer and your refrigerator, and start planning meals that you can cook out of your refrigerator and your freezer and maybe your pantry. Because any monies that you save during November are going to help you to be able to purchase some Christmas presents each week, to be ready for December 1st cruising. Putting your shoes on. I mean, last night I saw a post from Isaiah Saldivar, and he has 4 little girls, and his 5-year-old Harvest is her name. She fell and broke her elbow, and she's got to have surgery today. Right away. It happened last night, and she's still smiling, the precious little baby. How does FlyLady help in situations like that? Well, you won't break a toe and have to go to the doctor. You'll have your shoes on your feet. You're drinking your water, so you're not going to get dehydrated and almost pass out and hit your head and have to go to the doctor. Just look at when you have shoes on your feet. Yeah, shoes may cost some money, more than going barefoot, but you're less likely to drop a knife on the top of your foot and it stick in your foot. Been there, done that. That's why I have a rule. I don't go in my kitchen without. How do you take inventory of refrigerator food for menu planning? You look in your refrigerator and you see what you've got in there that you hadn't cooked. I got a cabbage I need to cook. I got some carrots. I can make a pot roast. Those are the 2 fresh vegetables I have. In my freezer, I got a bag of mixed vegetables. I've got a package of chicken. I could make, and I've got 2 pie crusts in my refrigerator, and I could make chicken pot pie. Yum! That's out of my refrigerator. That's that would be like 3 meals I could cook from my refrigerator that we wouldn't have to pay takeout on. There goes the dog again. Robert went outside and didn't take her with him. This morning I told him it was all his fault that the dog was barking half the night. He said, "Why is it my fault?" I said, "Because you pulled up the fence and she can run around the house." Yeah, everybody loves chicken pot pie. And when it gets cold, you just want chicken pot pie. Or you have chicken and dumplings. Have you got flour in your pantry? I can teach you how to make chicken and dumplings. And sometimes you can use that turkey carcass and use that turkey broth to make dumplings. So planning your menus is going to save you a ton of money. It really will. Learning to cook, learning to put a pot of beans on or a pot of rice, it's going to help you save money. Utilizing your crock pot and your bread machine is going to help you. We've all got them stuck in a closet somewhere, not being used. We've got Instapots, we've got crock pots, you name it, we've got it. And we don't use it because it's just easier to go to the store. But what if you couldn't go to the store? What if you couldn't get out of the house because there's a flood and the road's flooded? What are you going to feed your family? Y'all, take some time today to look in your refrigerator. Just open up the door. If you got some marinade in there that you need to use up, one of the best meals we ever had on a Wednesday, is clean out the refrigerator day, was a surprise chicken recipe that was, I had like a half a bottle of, or a third of a bottle of jerk sauce, and it became Caribbean jerk sauce chicken. Cooked a pot of rice, and wow, it was wonderful. Well, you don't need a bread machine if you got, if you can knead, if you can knead, you stir things up, let it rise, knead it up again a second time, and make a loaf of bread. That's horrible that you just lost your only grocery store. That's horrible. You can do it. The main thing is just to knead it for 10 minutes to get the gluten going. Get it out. Try it. What's it gonna hurt? You gonna mess up a loaf of bread? You know what I do with messed up bread? I let it dry out, put it in the food processor, and turn it into breadcrumbs. And you can probably find a bread machine at the junk store. I know I had a food processor I bought at the junk store for $5, and it lasted me 20 years or more. You can't figure out bread recipes. You just have, you just look for a simple bread recipe on YouTube. They show you what it looks like. There's one that has some Eagle brand milk in it. That's that sweetened condensed stuff that looks wonderful, like for breakfast or for making cinnamon raisin bread or something. But there's some great recipes on YouTube, and some of the best recipes are on Whippoorwill Hollow. Miss Lori, she's a lunch lady, and she knows how to make rolls. I used to make a beer bread where you take self-rising flour and some beer and a little bit of sugar, and it would be spoon bread, and you put it in little muffin tins. I don't know what happens if you don't have any beer in the house. Spoon rolls, yeah. My grandmother used to make um, spoon biscuits. She'd stir up the dough, and we loved it. And she'd take her little cast iron griddle, little round, flat griddle. She'd get it good and greased up and get it hot, and she'd take the biscuit dough with a spoon and drop it onto that hot griddle. And she wouldn't stir it up too much, and it would get these little knobbies on it, and we loved those little knobbies. And we mix up jelly and butter together and smash it up because we watched our grandfather do that. And he would take his coffee cup, and this was shared the other day on some podcast I was listening to about somebody. It was on Cog Hill. They do a live show on Tuesday and Saturday, and they were talking about their granddaddy pouring the coffee in the saucer. You used to have a cup and saucer, not a mug. But my grandfather did it with a mug. He had a saucer underneath his mug because he had his Marine Corps, his Navy mug. It was this golden looking. I have the cup at Justin's dad's house, and it was. he would pour the coffee into the saucer, and it was to cool the coffee off. And they were trying to figure out why our grandfathers did that. It's to cool the coffee off. So y'all, make an inventory. You can take this printable calendar and write out a whole month of menus. And then next month, put them on the next month. Butter and molasses together. Yeah, I remember helping make molasses. Cooking it down. I don't know who's, Uncle Coy's house or somebody's. But you just smash it up together and put it on your biscuit. That's what Granny would feed us for breakfast when we were at her house on the weekends. That's what she'd feed us for breakfast. We'd have biscuits. Sometimes she'd make bacon, but she could fill us up with just a quarter's worth of flour and some buttermilk. We're bringing back some memories, aren't we? I want you to know what you have, know what you can spend, and not be caught behind the 8 ball. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse. And all it takes is getting your head out of the sand. And on Fridays, looking over what you got to spend, what you got to do, because you put your bills in your office in a bag and you sit down with that office in a bag and you do what you need to do. Okay, folks, I got to get off of here and get some more things done. But you know what? I love you all so much. I don't know how to make naan bread. Now, I guess that's the way you say it, Julie. I don't know. Yeah, the Hillbilly Kitchen is good too. I love her. She doesn't live too far from me either. And she just cooks regular food, y'all. Nothing fancy, nothing packaged. And so does Miss Laurie at Whippoorwill Hollow. Sometimes watching a few YouTube videos is fun. And we got 2 playlists of it. Now, my husband's chopping wood, getting ready for a cooler weekend. I don't even know what naan bread is. That's my busy husband. Listen to him chop that wood. Anyway, folks, y'all be good, kind, and sweet. Lord, please be with all my fly babies. Help them to be ready for whatever the evil one sends our way. We can just laugh in his face because he is not going to scare us because we've got the good Lord at our back. Thank you, Lord, for being there, for having us in the palm of your hand. Keep us safe and continue to bless my fly babies all over the world. All these things I ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen and amen. I've been watching another video from 1972, which is earlier than the video I watched on Catherine Kuhlman. And it's about the Holy Spirit. And she was talking about how she realized when she was 14 years old that she was a sinner. And I'll never forget that the time it happened to me. I was 14 too. And I'm sitting in my granny's church in Bell City, Kentucky. And it just came over me just so strongly that if something were to happen to me, that I was a sinner and I was going to bust hell wide open. And I didn't want to go to hell. I don't remember what the sermon was about. Don't remember any of that stuff. But I remember that feeling of, I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. I want to spend eternity with God in heaven, with Jesus. Okay, folks. And I got baptized that day in a baptistry that was filled with algae, and it was cold, and at least it wasn't empty, and had Christmas decorations in it. Yeah, it's Friday. Clean out your car, clean out your purse, and check that refrigerator, because I know you missed doing it on Wednesday to see what you need to get cooked. I love you all. Just be ready for the unexpected. Because when you're ready, you don't panic. You don't panic, you can handle anything. I love you all. See you later.